Okay, so lesson 17 you guys are going to find is going to be pretty challenging. This is puzzle 4 where we're going to start using some functions to simplify our coding, so we have to repeat a lot of different commands. For instance, we're going to be repeating this function a lot, checking to see if there's corn, and if there's corn we're going to pick it. So since we're going to repeat that a lot, we've created a function, check square for corn, that we could use instead. So instead of putting in both of these different commands, we're just going to go to functions and just use this function. That being said, I'm going to break this down to 3 parts, and I'm going to kind of put that as a comment right here. The first part, I'm just going to do kind of by line, right? What I want to do first is I'm going to check for corn until pumpkin at the end. And then I want to pick the pumpkin, okay? And then after that, the next thing I'm going to do for this part, there's nothing to pick after I've picked the pumpkin. Let's actually make sure we say that we've picked pumpkin at the end. We're just going to move up, and that's just kind of right here. We're going to move up and turn left. And then at the very end, I'm going to sort of do the same thing I did the first time around. Check for corn until the pumpkin at the end, and pick the pumpkin at the end. Check for corn until pumpkin at the end, pick pumpkin at the end. Okay, so I think after we break it down to these 3 different parts, we should be able to code this appropriately. So let's code this first part, checking for corn until pumpkin at the end. Okay, so what I notice is I simply am going to want to move forward, check for corn, move forward, check for corn, etc. until the pumpkin. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a conditional, repeat until there are pumpkins, because that's the very end. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move forward, and that's going to be in the action tab, move forward. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to now use this function, check square for corn. And I'm going to go here by clicking on functions, check square for corn. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this, and we're going to notice we get to the end, we still need to pick the pumpkin. It's important that where we place the pumpkin. Some of us might make a mistake and put that in the repeating. We don't want to repeat picking a pumpkin. We don't want to pick a pumpkin here, 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 here. We want to do it at the very end. So instead of putting it in the repeating loop, I'm going to put it at the very end. Okay, so that finishes this first little tidbit that we want to complete. The next thing I want to do is move up and turn left. So what I'm going to do to move up is first I have to turn left. I'm just going to move forward, and I'm going to turn left again, so I'm facing the pumpkin at the end. Okay, so let's go ahead and run that to make sure it does what we want, and it sure does. And again, the very end is going to actually be the same exact coding as the first part. We're going to move forward and check for corn and pick the corn, and then get the pumpkin at the very end. Okay, so I'm essentially going to copy the same code. We're going to use a conditional, repeat until pumpkins. What we want to repeat is we're going to move forward, and we're going to check the square for corn. And then after we are done checking the corn, once we get to the pumpkins, we're going to want to pick the pumpkin. Okay, so this is going to be puzzle 4 in lesson 17. There's going to be some difficult challenges in this lesson. I will be posting a couple videos on Google Classroom, and there is going to be tutoring. So if you feel like you're stuck, just move ahead. For instance, if you get stuck on 4, just click on 5, move ahead, and come to tutoring. Attend tutoring and be ready with your questions, and I'll help you guys out with it.